Conditioning is what we're going to start with. You've learned classical conditioning. You know they're down pat, correct? Yes, you do. All right. Operant conditioning is pretty simple. Operant conditioning is literally learning through punishment and reward. All right. Operant conditioning, learning through punishment and reward. Operant conditioning, learning through punishment and reward. We also call reward reinforcement. Reinforcement. All right, good job. Now, all of this was found out by this person called B.F. Skinner, and he used what is considered a Skinner box. So Skinner box literally it was designed to have, some people say a rat, some people say a pigeon. It was an animal inside of a box. And what he did was the animal would push the lever inside the box. If you go to page 23, slide 23, you'll see the design. There's a lever that the animal would actually push. When they would push the lever, a pebble of food would come out. What do you think the animal started to do? Push the lever more. So what Skinner found out was, if I reinforce you or reward you, I can increase your behavior. So what he saw, reward increases behavior. Reward increases behavior. This is your operate. Yep. Reward increases behavior. Reward increases behavior. Reinforcement increases behavior. Punishment. So he then decided, let me try something different. Let me give a shock to the pigeon when he pushes the lever. What do you think the pigeon started to do then? Not. So he says, if I punish you, I can decrease your behavior. So reward and reinforcement increases. Do we all agree? Reward increases behavior, punishment decreases behavior. You've all had this happen in your life. Yes? Somebody has rewarded you for something. Yes? What was it? Stickers, attendance, candy, clothes. All of these, when you got them, it made you feel what? Good. Rewards make you feel good. Okay? Rewards make you feel good. So anytime you see something that talks about somebody doing something good and feeling good, rewards make you feel good. Who's ever been punished before? What happened? Don't tell me what happened. Just what was the punishment? Spankings. Extra chores. Grounding. This made you feel what? Punishments hurt. Punishments hurt, rewards feel good. Do we all understand these concepts? This is simple, correct? Now, there's a little twist, just a little bit. We have what are considered positive and negative reinforcements and positive and negative punishments. Okay? We still say reinforcers make you feel what? Good. So a positive punishment, all it means is that I add something to you. But it still makes you feel good. Negative, I take it away, and it makes you feel good. Positive, nope, we're still on reinforcement. Positive reinforcement, add something, feels good. Negative reinforcement, take something away, feels good. You got it? Negative, don't think of negative as bad. Negative just means subtract. Go straight to math. Subtract, negative. Negative sign means to subtract. Yes? Give me an example of a positive reinforcement. Positive. Why do you go? You want all negative. Positive reinforcement. I gave you cookies. You did good, you get cookies. Give me a negative reinforcement. You don't have to do your chores. Oh, so that hurts. That's a punishment. Remember, this got to feel good. So, do good in school, no chores. Negative reinforcement. Give me another negative reinforcement. You don't have to do your homework if. Do all your classwork, you don't have to do your homework. No, it does not, but that's a good example. Do good on your test, no final exam. That's a negative what? Reward. Everybody got that? We also have positive and negative punishments. It still hurts. Positive, I add something to you that hurts. Negative, I take something away from you that hurts. What's a positive punishment? Getting more chores. A spanking is actually a positive punishment. I'm adding pain. What is a negative punishment? There you go. Take away my phone. No freedom. Stay in the house. These are all negative punishments. Do you got the difference? Do you know the difference? Are you good? Yes? We got a huh? Gina, we had a no? Okay, where we stop? Where we lose you? When you see positive, just know positive just means I'm giving it something to you. Just first get that concept. Positive means to add. Positive means to add. Okay? Negative just means to take something away. Don't look at it as a bad thing. Don't look at negative as, oh, that's negative. Yeah. A lot of people, you all use positive and negative reinforcement in your life. You've all done it. You just didn't know that's what it was called. So whenever you were doing something really good and somebody said, Gina, you keep doing that, you don't have to do blah, blah, blah. All they were giving you was a negative reinforcement. They were taking something away from you that it felt really good. I mean, your spouse has done it to you, like, oh, babe, you did that. Don't even worry about doing so-and-so. I got you. That was a negative reinforcement. Okay? That's all it was. Oh, you've done all of the chores. Don't worry about doing the laundry. I'll do it. That was a negative reinforcement. It might be far-fetched, but it sounded good. Let's just say I got hope this weekend that that's what's going to happen. Okay? Everybody get it? Yes? Punishment hurts. Do we all agree? Positive. This is where people get all confused. Positive punishment. How can you have a positive punishment? It just means they added something to your life that was not comfortable. Say, Amy? Being yelled at. If your mother yells at you all the time, that is a positive punishment. She is adding just chaos. You've all had this in your life. Do you agree? Good. All right, move to slide 25. Now, in regards to reinforcements, we have primary and secondary. Primary reinforcers are your basic needs of life. Food, water, shelter, air, and sex. Basic needs of life. Food, water, shelter, air, and sex. 25 reinforcement at the top. You see it, Amy? It's right after. You see the picture with the karate person? Right up there. All right. Secondary reinforcers are learned reinforcers. You had to learn they have value. Secondary reinforcers, you had to learn that they have value. What are some things you had to learn that has value? Money, car, cell phone, house. These are all secondary reinforcers. Primary reinforcers, basic needs of life. Secondary reinforcers, you learn them. Behavior modification. Behavior modification literally means I create some type of reinforcer to modify your behavior. I create some type of reinforcer to modify your behavior. I create some type of reinforcer to modify your behavior. First grade teachers do this a lot. If you do good, I'll give you a star. All good students get their name on the board. That's literally what we consider behavior modification. Yes, Cody. Behavior modification. Right underneath your primary and secondary. You see it? You see slide 25? Turn over. Turn your next page, Courtney. At the top. Okay. Immediate. Go ahead. Behavior modification is. Uh, thank you. To modify behavior. Creating some type of reinforcer to modify behavior. Primary and basic needs of life. Food, water. Secondary are learned behaviors. Learned reinforcers. Immediate versus delayed. Literally what it says. Either you get the reward now or you get the reward later. Oftentimes there are things in your life that you do. How many of you have ever helped someone who could not give you anything in return? Why did you do it? You nice? Makes you feel good? You enjoyed it? It's always what's in it for me. Understand, humans do everything because of what's in it for me. Even when you volunteer, you do it because of what's in it for you. What's in it for you is sometimes just self-gratification. Why are you doing it? And why? It gratifies you. Literally, let's just say, for instance, as a Christian, there are things that I just don't do. I just don't do them. I don't do it because I don't think about how it would be if I did it. Like, it's a couple of people about to disclose something. I would kill you if I could. But I don't kill you not because I don't think about it, not because I don't have a plan to do it and hide the body and you never be found. I do it because I'm trying to get to heaven, and I know that might give me some strikes out. I might have to explain that. I always figure when I get to heaven, God gonna put this big picture up, and He gonna be like, "Okay, Sheree, let's talk about." And I'm gonna be like, "Look, what happened was, you know, let me explain that. Wait, rewind." And I don't want to have to be like, "Well, look, Lord, you know, he messed up and had to kill him." I don't want to have to say that. Right, you know, look what he did. Rewind 5 years ago. All right, and then that's why he got cut up and buried. So I don't do it. Why? Because my morals said I need to not do it because I want to get what out of it. Whatever. When you do stuff, you'll be like, "Oh, I gave him $20. Well, can you give it back?" "No, but I get it later." You're still doing it in regards to delayed gratification. That makes sense. Even people who feed the homeless, do all that, it still gives you a sense of, I've done something good. If it made you feel horrible, like let's just say people who go to jail do community service, do they do it because they're like, "Oh my God, it's gonna make me feel good"? Why do you do the community service? It's a punishment. Let me get this over with and done with it so it can be over. Those people who do community service just to do it, why do you do it? Who has ever done community service just out of the kindness of their heart? And why did you do it? Okay. You said what? Yeah, it's literally like, oh, what did I get? I got a secondary reinforcer. I got social approval. I got social acceptance. That's all that is. Does that make sense? Either immediately or delayed. Got it? Good. All right, move. Page number, I'm assuming it's 26. That's your delayed versus immediate. It's pretty much what it says. Immediate or still on your reinforcement. Primary and secondary reinforcers, behavior modification, immediate versus delayed. No problem. Now, types of reinforcement. We're on the types of reinforcement slide. Primary reinforcers, we talked about it. Literally, I can make you do anything if I take away your biological needs. If I said to you, clean this room or you don't eat. Good. And you say that. That's good. You won't eat until it's clean. I'm not coming back and saying nothing to you. All I'm going to do is come look at the room. It's still not clean. You're not eating. Eventually, these things called hunger pains are going to kick in. Watch some cleaning start to occur. Might be 2 days later. You won't eat for 2 days. Because I said you don't eat unless you clean. Make sense? Basic needs of life. It's not hard. Like, oh, you better not sneak. Because now you didn't change the reinforcement to punishment. Positive punishment. Hold that and one more slide, and I'll tell you. Just hold it. Yeah, because just hold it right. And that's yeah. Just hold it. Hold it, and I will talk. Well, hold it. It's gonna be my example. First, so look at the cranial stimulation. Cranial stimulation literally means anything that I can activate brain's pleasure. Anything I can reinforce you to activate your brain's pleasure. Give me something. Give me something that activates your brain's pleasure. Now, that is bring a good point. Technically, that activates my body's pleasure, not my brain. Music might do my brain. What else might do my brain? TV. If you into that kind of torture, if you're into S&M, then yeah, math might be it. So, I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, okay. But yeah, anything that stimulates your brain. So it might literally just be knowledge. If you like to be or feel like you know something, that's literally a reinforcement. If somebody literally goes like, oh my God, you know that, that's a pleasure thing for you. It's literally just a mental thing. Does that make sense? That's intracranial stimulation. We're on 26? Yep, 26. Now, we already talked about secondary reinforcers. What are secondary reinforcers? Things that you have to learn. There's two different types, token and social. Token is tangible. So they're secondary. I have learned that they have a representation or value, but they are token, they're tangible. I can touch them. Give me something I can touch. Money. See what you guys like. Cell phone, money, stickers, cars, food. They're things that I can touch. These are rewards I can touch. The other one are social. They're untouchable. They're untangible. They're literally intangible. They're things that you can just say to me. Praise. Good job. You did really good on that. Fabulous. You're so smart. Wonderful. Amazing. Now, hug. Is hug tangible or is it social? It's technically both. Because it's the acceptance and approval of the hug. Now, everybody's got this hug. Okay? And you've got the... Right. Now, what did this one do for you? It was technically just a tangible. It was just kind of like, oh, thanks, pat on my back. Okay? Yeah, yeah. Now this meant socially, I was trying to give you something more. Does that make sense? This is like, hey, good to see you. This is, honey, I'm home. Feel the difference? This, whoever got a pat on their head. Okay, some people are like, I'm not a dog. Okay, it's really, it depends on your social acceptance, what you like socially. Does that make sense? Good. Move to slide 28. And we're going to bring Gina's example here. First thing, punishment must be swift. Punishment must be swift. Max is my dog. Max has a pooping problem currently. And I think it's because when my boyfriend moved in, Max had a territory issue. It's just been me and Max for 7 years. Boyfriend pops in. Max is like, we not feeling this. He's peed on his shoes. He's just, he went into the closet and found his shoes and peed on his shoes. And I literally just said, Max had an accident. He said, on only my shoes? Hey, that's where he found comfort. Maybe they got a smell on them. I don't know. But Max is having a problem right now with this situation. Okay, so he's learning, he's pooping in some areas that he should not poop. Now, I work 12 hours. It takes me an hour to get here, hour to get home. We work 10-hour days. So for 12 hours, I'm gone. So when I come home, I hear, Max pooped, blah, 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 blah. What are you going to do about it? Well, technically, there's nothing I can do about it now because it's 12 hours later. All Max is going to think I'm doing is beating him for the pleasure of it because it has to be swift. Try that. Yeah, it's got to have a good smell to it for Max to relate. And for some reason, his poop turns really quickly. Maybe because they're about this big. I don't know. It's the same thing. If he touches this and you're like, as soon as you get home, he's 2 years old. When he gets home, I don't understand that. It's you swift. Get it in there. When you got to spank it. Remember when it was like when you got 9 and they said when you get home, your butt is mine. The whole day you just, oh my God, oh my Lord, it's almost not, it's, oh my God, don't let me out of school yet. It was like that. At 2, when you get home, my sister has a daughter, Taylor. Taylor is my sister reincarnated. It's her punishment for her, all the things she has done in her life. It's just who Taylor is. Taylor at 2, my sister says, when we get home, I'm going to beat your butt. When Taylor walked in the door, she says, I thought you said when we get home you was going to beat my butt. Because to her it was just like, I'm just going to repeat what you said. It's not that big of a deal. Now my sister clicked like, did this heifer just say what I think she said? And kind of spazzed out on her. But it was just literally, it was too delayed. You got to get Taylor at the moment. Taylor fell out in Walmart. My sister would keep saying like, Taylor's not getting it. Taylor's not getting it. And I said, look, Taylor needs something swift. That didn't work for Taylor. Taylor even started to say like, what, you gonna spank me? Taylor is my sister's punishment. Taylor is bold. But Taylor doesn't like to be embarrassed. So she had to find out Taylor's weakness, which will go to Gina's thing. If its punishment does not fit the person, it's not going to be a valid punishment. I've got 3 spankings in my life. My brother's got 3 a day. Okay? Get me one time, I got it. I'm done with this. My brothers, they had the same punishment, I think about 9 times before it clicked. Duh, don't do that. So with Taylor, the spankings was just like, what? Was he going to spank me? Here we go again. Maybe my sister wasn't spanking good. I don't know. So she doesn't like embarrassment. So in the store, Taylor fell out in the middle of the store, and my sister calls like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this child. I'm going to go to jail in a minute because I'm beating her in the middle of Walmart. People looking at me crazy. And I'm like, well, what are you beating her with? She says, I'm taking the belts off of the Walmart display. I'm like, okay. She's like, I'm like, is it the same one? She says, no, I've used all sizes. I'm like, okay, well, spanking's not working for Taylor. What works for Taylor? She's like, Taylor don't like to be embarrassed. I said, then that's your key. She says, all right, I got Taylor next time we get to Walmart. I'm like, please don't hurt Taylor. She says, well, I'm not going to hurt her, but it's going to be a show. Taylor gets to Walmart, falls out. My sister moves the racks, lays on the floor, and has a temper tantrum on the floor next to Taylor, kicking, falling out, screaming, the whole thing. Taylor stops and looks like, and my sister's not a small woman. She's on the floor. And Taylor gets up like, Mommy, get up. You are embarrassing me. And she said, now you know what it feels like. You want to act a fool, your mama going to act a fool with you. Taylor's now 10, totally different child now. Taylor no longer acts a fool in public. Taylor does not. My sister says, Taylor move, Taylor jumps. Because she know my mama is crazy. I don't know which hand she going to come out of. It might be one of the belts off the rack. She might fall on the floor. I don't know. But the punishments was swift. Another thing has to be consistent. Do not change your punishment. Don't change your punishment. If I say tomorrow at 6, it's tomorrow at 6. I don't care if you do a phenomenal job. If you cleaned that like Cinderella, you still don't get it till 6. Because the minute you move, I now know your weakness. And you don't, if she does great, she doesn't get it. You said tomorrow is when it comes back. I don't freaking care what you do. You can do flips across the room, polish I don't care. Tomorrow is when you get it. Swift, consistent. You all heard that person say you can't use the phone till next week, and then they're on the phone tomorrow. It turns, you start to say, I'm going to play this. A child is smart. Children are brilliant. They know how to manipulate you. That's why they give you the sad puppy dog look. Just before you start hollering, they give you that look and you're like, I don't mean to be hot. Yeah, you do mean to holler. Yeah. Yeah, you do love them. This is a lot of love. It take a whole lot of love for me to get this belt and to spank your butt. That's a lot of love. Because the minute you don't, let's go to little Billy in the store. We've all seen little Billy. Little Billy's 4. And little Billy says, Mommy, I want this. Mommy says, no. And little Billy says, yes. And Mommy says, no. And little Billy slaps Mommy. And then you have the mommy who goes like, Billy, Jonathan, we don't slap Mommy. And then Jonathan thinking like, woo, okay. Watch me slap her again. There's no consequences. Now you got Mommy 2. Jonathan slaps Mommy 2. Then what Mommy do? Jonathan slaps Mommy. Mommy does what? Slap Jonathan. And Jonathan like, oh. Did she just slap me? Will Jonathan slap Mommy again? No. Okay. It's inconsistent. Because if you hit me good enough as a child, I don't mean take your hand and be like, and their face be like, blah, blah, blah. Not like that. But I even remember I bit my dad at 2 years old. I am now 40. I still remember my daddy biting me back. I'm not lying to y'all. I bit him at 2, not because he did something, and it was just a reflex. I won it. Daddy said, no, bite. It just worked. And my daddy sat there for a minute. It's like it was happening yesterday. He sat there and he said, baby girl. And he grabbed my arm, and it was not breaking skin, but it was painful. And I kind of like, you know how you don't cry yet? You kind of like, and you don't know, do I cry? Do I scream? Do I bite him back? What do I do here? But Daddy never got bit again. It's your choice. They don't understand the feeling of biting. Taylor again. Taylor was biting cheeks of kids who wouldn't give her stuff in school. You gotta Taylor didn't understand it. My sister kept saying, don't bite her, Taylor. It don't bite her. And Taylor she's like, it hurts. And Taylor looking like, it don't hurt me. Like, all I did was bit her. Until that one kid Taylor bit, that kid turned around and took a chunk of Taylor's jaw. And Taylor was like, Mommy, it hurts when people bite you. Exactly. You've been biting for a year now. It took that one child to show you this hurts. They don't understand it yet. That's why they look for you for the emotional cues. How should I respond to this? You got to teach them. swapping them on the butt, it doesn't hurt. It embarrasses them. If you ever see a kid that gets their hand, that doesn't hurt them. They first look around to see who saw it. Now I'm going to cry because I'm embarrassed. Touching things, let them touch it. They've got to touch it. And parents don't realize 3 and 4-year-olds, they take in the world by touching. That's the only way they understand the world. They've got to touch it to understand it. It's like you telling me, don't have sex. I'm just going to use that for example. Don't have sex. Why? Just don't. Why? You get pregnant. They got stuff to stop that. Why? What makes it sacred? I love him now. So I do everything that's in the Bible right. I regret the lie I told last night, but I still told it. I regret the lie I told last night, but I still told it. The more you keep saying that, what is it making sex look like? Very appealing. Because first thing you said, you only do it when you love someone. You only do it when you're married. The thought of it is like, dang, this is sounding really good. It's this thing when people get in love, they do this thing. This is sounding good. The problem is because the thought is, I'm creating this adventure. Don't touch that. I want you guys to Google. It's called the Marshmallow Challenge. The Marshmallow Challenge. What it is some 5-year-olds. They put a marshmallow in front of the 5-year-old and they say, don't eat it. If you don't eat it before I come back, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. And they leave the room. It's just the marshmallow and the 5-year-old. The 5-year-old usually, they take it, and you see these 5-year-olds like, you even have one 5-year-old licks it. One 5-year-old kind of just keeps twirling it around like, then the one 5-year-old grabs the bottom of it, eats it, puts it back. Okay? Then you have one 5-year-old just grabs it like, forget this. It's too much torture. Okay? And it literally says is, I entice you by what you can't have, but then I tell you not to have it. I'm confusing me. It's really confusing, and at this point in time, I just want it. Nope, you better talk something. We tell you to start at the early, this is going to surprise you. You need to have the sex talk as early as 6 years old. No, the youngest person given oral sex was 5 years old. She was 5 years old, literally performing on a 6-year-old boy. Yes. She's just doing what she saw. She saw something, she's just repeating it. So, unfortunately, because of what's on TV right now, sex is on TV as early as your cartoons. No, they're not. So if you don't do it, somebody else will. It's not so much you're telling them not to, because abstinence, we've done studies on abstinence. I literally did teen pregnancy prevention in Michigan. We went out and we did all this teen prevention, and we had to do all this research before we started it. Abstinence doesn't work. Literally 90% of abstinence projects don't work. So what we had to do is do education, not so much abstinence. If you educate me right, I will probably abstain. I'm not going to teach you not to. I'm not going to tell you why you shouldn't. I'm going to tell you what, if you did, these are the things that might occur. If you show me and tell me the right stuff, I probably won't do it because of what you showed me and told me. Even in regards to religion, if you tell me why I shouldn't, I probably won't do it, not because I don't want to, but because you told me why I shouldn't. You explained it to me. You didn't dictate, don't. You didn't make it sound appealing. You told me, if you do, these are some things that can occur. And if you do it, These are the things you need to do. She did. She did. They're all in one spot. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He do have one. It don't drive. He ain't driving. That's typical. He's just gonna get better at that. That's just some. That's a forever thing. Um, she's 12, and 12 is the prime time of adventure, curiosity, adventure, and those hormones are kicking beyond her understanding. My mom worked at a school for pregnant teens. Her youngest person pregnant was 10 years old. And her parents was making her have the child. So she was a 10-year-old going to give birth to a child. Um, Biologically, she wasn't at that age, but her menstruation started. Her body had changed. Once your cycle starts, the hormone production changes. Once the hormone production changes, your curiosity comes in. Society teaches our girls to be sexy. It's time for you to sit down. Don't I hate the birds and the bees talk because I never understood birds and bees. Oh. Unfortunately, her daughter could probably teach you right now. I'm gonna tell you, um, my dad's philosophy of sex was a little bit different than other people. Um, his tactic was fear, and his thing was, if you have sex, I will know. And I'm thinking like, whatever, you know. He says, this is how I will know. And I'm like, okay. He's like, your skin's gonna clear up. My skin's gonna clear up, Dad. He's like, yes. You're gonna walk. He says your skin will clear up, your breasts will increase, your hips will spread, and your walk is gonna change. I will know the minute you walk in the door. Well, in my head, my dad had already laid the foundation that he probably right. Now, was it gonna actually happen? I don't know, but could I take the chance that he was wrong? That's a chance I don't know if I was ready to take because he said, and the minute I find out, I will kill him, and then you will never leave the house. So it was a thought like, do I take this chance that my daddy really is right? Because I've never had sex, so if I try it, he might be right. I'm not gonna know. And he would say things when I walk in like, that skin looking mighty clear today. I'd be like, Daddy, Mama bought me some Neutrogena. Like, it was the first thought, like, what can I say? And it was like when I first actually had sex, I started looking at my skin like, did it clear up? Was my daddy right? Because he had laid this foundation. No foundation, you're going to try to create walls in a house that has no foundation. So that's going to be hard because her foundation is coming from her environment. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of them are literally the enemy of the world. Yeah, it all up. Let me just. Unfortunately, nowadays, social media is making it really convenient for your adolescents to do a lot of things, from sex pictures to anything else. Um, Reinforcement. It brings about pleasure and cranial pleasure. I see it. It brings about pleasure. Pornography is literally in cranial pleasure. It's a reinforcement. It gives you pleasure. Primary reinforcer to some. Understand, with punishment, we said swift, it has to be consistent, and it creates aggression. Every who got spankings here? Okay, after the spanking, where'd you go? To your room. Did you sit in there and say, I love them? They are like the best person I've ever met. You probably were in there thinking, let me grab that belt and show you what a spanking really feel like. When you get old, I'm putting you in a home. Okay? You thought it created aggression. It doesn't create love. So punishment creates aggression. Go to page slide 29. Now we're going to talk about the different ones. Aversive stimulus. Punishment is an aversive stimulus. This is when you have painful or uncomfortable stimuli. Painful or uncomfortable stimuli is aversive stimulus. Spanking. 29. It says punishment concepts. Punishment concepts. Aversive stimulus. Painful or uncomfortable stimuli. Something uncomfortable. Even if it's uncomfortable, it's really aversive. All right, escape learning. We're going to talk about escape learning, and we're going to talk about avoidance learning. Your escape learning. Escape learning is when you are in the punishment and you've learned techniques to get out or to stop the pain. You're in the punishment, you learn techniques to escape the pain. But no, now, hold on, that's a little bit different. This will be, if you ever got a spanking, you've all done this. No, you didn't run. The belt came, first hit, second hit, third hit, hand extended because it was a reflex. It extended, your reflex was really good, and you caught the belt. And then you sat there and thought, oh my, bad idea. And your parents said, let it go. And they said, let it go. And you're like, Dad, I really want to, but dang. That's escape learning. You're in the midst of it, and you just need it to stop for a minute. People start crying. That crying you do is to try to stop it from. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, while you're in the midst of it. That's escape learning. You're trying to stop the pain in the midst of the punishment. I won't ever do it again. I promise I'll never do it again. In the midst of it. Avoidance learning. This is the running around. You are trying to postpone or delay the punishment. You're over here, they're over there, and they say, come here. And you like, right there? They're like, come here. And you like, right there? Yeah, like, over where, Mom? Right here. And you do that little move like, yeah. You gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom for a minute. I need to go put a couple extra pants on. That is avoidance. Or easy, even this, you put oral gel on to delay the dentist. No, it does not. Putting oral gel on, your tooth hurt, you put oral gel on. That's avoidance learning. You're just trying to delay the pain. Advil and Aleve, delaying the pain. Taking your test an hour before it's due. Avoidance learning. Yes. We good? Now, go to your beyond basic reinforcements. These should look very familiar to you. Generalization, discrimination, extinction, spontaneous recovery. It looks familiar, doesn't it? Give me an example of, they're the same principle, they're now applied to reinforcements. same principle applied to reinforcement. So give me an example of generalization in regards to, first let's talk about what's generalization. When I do what? Generalize. Now give me an example of a generalized reinforcement. Not punishment, go back to reinforcement now. Generalize it though. Generalize it again. Literally saying, if you want me to do something, just bring me some dessert. I don't like every dessert, but if I generalize it and say it, that would be a generalized reinforcement. Does that make sense? Yes? Um, who likes a certain kind of cookies, but you don't like all cookies? Okay, chocolate, that's the perfect one. Chocolate chip might be what you really like, but if you just literally said, if you want me to do good, just bring me some cookies. That's generalization. I just generalized it. Does that make sense? It's a reinforcement. Exactly. You just get, I'll give you some stickers. That's generalization. If you really want to star, that would be the discrimination. If you really want me to do something, bring me some chocolate chip cookies. Generalization, being specific, is your discrimination. Generalization is just saying, bring me some cookies. That's generalization. Now give me discrimination. There you go. Discrimination. Good. Extinction means what? The stimulus goes away over time. So give me an extinction in regards to operant conditioning, in regards to a reward. We went back to punishment. Y'all like punishments. Give me extinction with the reinforcement or reward. Give me an example. Exactly. You just went back again. What did you guys have? What's that, Amy? There you go. Extinction. It just becomes to where whatever now. So if we use Jonathan's idea with the chores, it becomes to where cleaning the kitchen. I mean, who cares if I don't have to do any chores? It doesn't mean anything anymore. Or if I stop doing homework, it's just like, okay, we've done this so much, it doesn't even faze me. It's not a reward anymore because I've gotten it so much. It's a normal now. Okay? That's it. Extinction. Spontaneous recovery means it did what? The stimulus came back. So literally for extinction, we didn't have to do chores any longer. We don't have to do our homework, and then every once in a while we're like, oh my God, just think about it. I don't have to do any chores today. It's that one moment you come back. Good. Spontaneous recovery. Yep. Now, all of these things, reinforcement actually shape you. Shape you literally means it makes you or shapes you into a behavior. It makes you do or shapes you into a behavior. Shaping literally just means if I reinforce you, I am literally shaping you into doing a behavior. If I reinforce you, I'm shaping you. You're becoming the person I want. If we go back to the chores, if I keep reinforcing you for so long, you're just going to start doing the chores as if it's just something I'm supposed to do. Remember when you got A's and your parents gave you rewards and all of a sudden it was just like you got them because it was just what you were supposed to do at that point. They've shaped you. Your spouse or your partner has shaped you. You know what the look is. You know when the look is good and when the look is bad. The foundation is there. Now, move to 31 slide. This is now where we start to talk about reinforcement. We're still on reinforcement. You've talked about the principles of reinforcement. Now this is the schedule that we use for reinforcement. The first one is continuous. It means what it says. Continuous means what? Constant. You always get the reinforcement. Every time you do it, you get a reinforcement. Continuous means all the time. Partial means some of the time. So every once in a while you get it. Continuous all the time. Partial some of the time. You then have the word fixed. Fixed means same. It means the same amount at all times. You then have variable. It means to change. So I have something that is fixed, means it's always the same. Variable means it might change. I then have two concepts, interval and ratio. Interval means the number, no, interval means the time on a clock. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, so on. Ratio means the number of behaviors. Do we understand the difference? Interval is time. Ratio is the number of behavior. Are we all okay with this? We got it? Variable means to change. So I'm going to have a fixed interval and a variable interval. I'm going to have a fixed ratio and a variable ratio. A fixed interval means it's always the same time. You get paid every 2 weeks. That's a fixed interval. Okay? Variable interval. You get paid every so often. We're good? Fixed ratio. I pay you after you complete 10 jobs. Variable ratio. Every once in a while, I give you a cookie. Do you see the difference? Fixed is same, variable is changing, interval is time, ratio is behavior. Do you have that? Yes? Good. Let's keep it moving. So, your slide 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, all explain your fixed and intervals. So you're now on page 38. The only thing you need to know on 38, the increase of dopamine assists you in creating adjustment and organization. The increase in dopamine allows you to adjust and organize. Increase in dopamine allows you to adjust and organize. Operant conditioning increases dopamine. Okay? The increase in dopamine allows you to adjust and organize. Operant conditioning increases the production of dopamine. We're on 38, slide 38. The production of dopamine. What is dopamine? A neurotransmitter. Dopamine? It does a lot of things. But every time you go under some type of operant conditioning, it actually increases your production of dopamine. It teaches you how to be organized. It teaches you how to adjust. And it actually motivates you. Say it again. But understand, and that's a good example when we talk about hoarders. Hoarders are actually OCD, but their OCD is based on the obsession of something. And it might be sloppy in regards to our mindset, but it's an obsession with something. So they have OCD, like you see them have garbage. And we'll watch a couple of videos when we get to that section, and I'll show you the one, and she has not thrown away garbage in 5 years. Yeah, and her obsession is with garbage, that she's afraid she might throw away something that she needs. That's disgusting. Yeah. Because the idea is that I'm obsessed with a thing. So their dopamine levels might be so high that they're obsessed with the need, and to their mindset, they're organized. They actually had one hoarder that he had newspapers from 20 years, and they literally created a path. It was very organized, but he's never thrown a newspaper away in 20 years. Yep. I seen one that she wouldn't throw away toilet paper. Both. Operant conditioning. Dopamine. If you're punished, it helps with your dopamine level, and if you're rewarded, it helps with dopamine level. Every time you got a spanking, your parents created an increase in your dopamine level. Yes. All right, let's move to slide 39. That's kind of like doing a comparison of classical conditioning and operant conditioning. You guys have mastered this, correct? So reinforcements always do what to behavior? Increase it. Punishment always does what to behavior? Decrease it. If I give you a positive punishment or a positive reward, I am doing what? Adding something. If I give a negative, I am. Let's move to slide 41. You are now on the next type of learning. You've mastered classical, you've mastered operant, you've got two more, cognitive and social. The next one is cognitive. Cognitive learning is also what is called latent learning. Cognitive learning is also called latent learning. And we're going to use Tolman and his rats. Latent. Latent learning. And we're going to use Tolman and his rats. Now, what Tolman did with his rats, he has 3 groups of rats. Okay, the first group, he actually gave a reward after every maze. They went through a maze, he got a reward, piece of cheese. Went through a maze, got some cheese. Went through a maze, got some cheese. The second group never got a reward. They go through the maze, even if they didn't finish the maze, they just never got anything. The third group got a piece of cheese after the 10th time going through the maze. So every 10 times they got a piece of cheese. Which rat group do you think was most successful? Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. We got 2, 3 in regards to knowing the maze. What? No reward. We got no reward, 1, always a reward, 10. It's actually Group 3. Group 3 had the best success in regards to their knowledge of the maze. The reason why, because they were always expecting a reward but never knew when they would get it. Group 1 got lazy because they knew it didn't matter. Group 2 never got really good. It was nothing in it for them. Group 3 really got successful because the thought was, it might be this time. It might be this time. It might be this time. Okay? So what latent learning literally was is sometimes you learn things that you don't use until it has a benefit. So the rats had learned the maze, but they were really successful when they thought the benefit was coming. So what they realized is you sometimes learn things that you don't use until it has a benefit. How many of you no longer live with a parent? You're living by yourself. All right. You're 5 years old. We were all 5 at one time. In your parents' house. You left your bedroom. What did you leave on? The lights. The TV. You left it all on. You're now 10. You're in front of the refrigerator. What are you doing? It's open. You're standing there. And you're sitting there thinking, and your mother is yelling what? Close the door. And you're like, I'm trying to find something. You're not living by yourself. You walk out of your bedroom. What's the first thing you turn off? The lights. How often do you leave the refrigerator open as you're looking in it? Never. Why? Technically, because when you were 5, Georgia Power's name was your mother's. You're now 25, Georgia Power's name is yours. You always knew not to turn the lights on, but not until it was what's in it for me did you decide, I understand this light thing. You now tell people don't turn them lights on. If you got the TV on, you don't need the lights on. The TV is enough light. You might even be the one of the people who just light candles. No light needed. You know how to find stuff in the dark. You know where it's located. Okay? Latent learning. How many of you had that moment that you're like, oh, I finally get it. Now I know why, blah, blah, blah. That's what we call part of latent learning, which is called the aha moment. Go to your slide 46. Insight learning. Aha learning. Cognitive learning is the aha learning. It's the moment when you finally get it, when it all makes sense. Now I understand. Hopefully in psychology you're gonna have that moment. Good. Yeah, you're like, oh, now I get it. Hopefully it's before you get out of psychology that you had a moment. Okay. But you're gonna be watching TV shows now after you've had this class. You watch TV shows a little bit different because you're like, I get that. Oh, I understand that. Me and my boyfriend yesterday watched Devil Advocate. Haven't watched it in probably like 10 years. And the last part of the scene, he's the devil talking to his son, and he's using all these psychological terms to explain why the devil exists in the world. And he's using all in regards to instinct, he's using that all in regards to free will, and in regards to processing, in regards to temptation, but he's using all psychological terms. And me and my boyfriend are like laughing, like, oh my God, he's a social worker, I'm a psychologist. We understand the terms, but we sat there and thought, how about if somebody doesn't have a clue about any psychology terms? Are they missing the importance of this scene? Okay? If you ever watch NCIS, Criminal Minds, CIS, Law and Order, after this class you start looking at things differently because your thought is, oh, they probably got so-and-so. Oh, he's probably so-and-so. Okay? You even look at 48 hours, the first 48, totally different. Okay? Literally because you had that aha moment. And it might happen 2 years after the class is over. Sultan and the chimpanzee. Sultan was the chimp. Kohler actually did an experiment, and what she wanted to do was she wanted to see if we teach you certain things, when do you use them? So what Sultan was, he was really a chimp that was really smart. She gave him some sticks, and he could actually do things with these sticks. He can grab things with the sticks. He literally learned these sticks are valuable. She then gave him some boxes. He actually learned to climb on boxes. He can reach things. Okay, and if you ever see chimps out in the trees and all that, they do smart things. They can figure out some things without you even teaching. They just learn things. So then she says, what happens if I put these bananas on the top that the sticks can't use? So what he started to do, Sultan knew that if he grabbed sticks, he can actually knock bananas down. So if she put them where he could reach it, he would just take a stick and knock the banana down. He mastered that. He also knew when she put the blocks, if the bananas was high, he would stack the blocks up, stand up on the blocks, and grab the bananas. But then she says, what would happen if I put it so high that the sticks can't reach, and so high that if he stacks these boxes, he can't reach them? So for a minute, he would take sticks and just throw it at the bananas to try to get the bananas to come down. It didn't work. He then tried to take the boxes and throw it. It didn't work. He then got on the boxes and tried to jump. It didn't work. He failed so many times that eventually he started to think, let me put the two together. He's a chimpanzee. He then stacked the boxes, grabbed the stick, and used the stick and the boxes and swapped the bananas and had them fall. If you ever watch a child when they learn something, they'll try it some way the first time, it doesn't work. They'll try it again the next way, it don't work. They'll sit and look at it sometimes, and finally they go, I get it. That's the aha moment. Okay? Make sense? That's cognitive learning. What does cognitive mean? Mental processing. It's how you process. You usually learn through trial and error, definitely. That will be learning through trial and error. Yep, it's that moment where you finally like, I get it. I've done it this way for so long, I finally get it. They've actually looked at monkeys because monkeys were actually as smart because monkeys actually have what we call infants. So they actually mother as a human does. So you've got, that's why they got their theories. Surprisingly, after watching Lucy, I never knew this, I just got this from Lucy, dolphins are smarter than humans. Dolphins. Yes. No, because we dumber than dolphins. They actually use more of their brain. Their theory is we were monkey-like. Yeah, their theory is not that we were not monkeys, we were monkey-like in regards to our crawling, walking, and civilization. And then we evolved in regards to our intellect, which evolved us to upright creatures. So the theory is that we were monkey-like, not monkeys. We come from the species of ape type thing. So if you ever, yeah, if you, if you ever get a chance to go see Lucy the movie, I don't believe in evolution. That's just because that's my own religious belief. But if you go to Lucy, she actually takes this thing in regards to time. The movie's about time. She stands in um, Times Square and she moves time back. She just keeps moving it back, moving it back. She goes back all the way to the ape. And if you see the ape that she's doing it, she's trying to show you the ape is not a regular ape. It's a man. He's a man. He just has a lot of hair because he doesn't have grooming. He doesn't have any type of thing. So he's ape-like, but he's not actually an ape. And he's creating fire when you take him back to it. And she shows you how you evolve over time. Huh, that's a good one. Okay, I have to watch that. God's not dead. Yeah, I have me and evolution, we on a, yeah. I want to write some people about evolution, but that might, if it's not in the movies, that might be hard. Netflix might have it. Your last type of learning, then you're done. You have learned and finished the learning chapter and mastered everything in it. The last one is observational learning. Observational learning has two other names: observational learning, social learning theory, and modeling. It goes by three names: observational learning, social learning, and modeling. Observational learning, social learning, and modeling all are the same thing. Founded by Albert Bandura. Bandura is the founder of modeling. What Bandura says is you actually learn through watching others. That's all his theory is. You actually learn through watching others. Now, he feels that there are very important concepts to this, and we're going to talk about Bobo in a minute. But I want you to run to slide. It's one from the last one. Just before the last one, it says social learning at the top. It's right before the last slide. It says Bandura thought that observational learning is modeling observational learning. You see it where it says Bandura's thoughts? It's got the one before the last. Everybody see it? All right. These are the four things you must have present in order to have observational learning. You have to first pay attention. All of you as women, you learn how to sit from watching your mother. Why? Because you paid attention. Okay? 2, you have to have retention. You must create a visual picture. 1, you pay attention. 2, you create a visual picture. Pay attention and create a visual picture. 3, you must be able to reproduce the behavior. You must be able to reproduce the behavior. And 4, you must be motivated. If you've ever gone to a gym and you saw somebody next to you, you like, I want that. I want that right there. You started to first pay attention. You then got a picture of what they were doing. You then tried to reproduce it because you were motivated to get the same results. That's all observational is. In Bandura's study, he actually used what is called Bobo. Bobo was one of those punching things where you have the sand in the bottom, you punch it and it bounces back. If you never had one, sorry. But what he did was he had children watch domestic violence things. He had children watch violent videos. He had children watch all these things about violence. He then put them in a room with Bobo and literally had him to reenact whatever he felt with Bobo. He got very violent with Bobo because he realized that once you watch something, you start to model what you see, which is why we talk about domestic violence. Domestic violence is usually a modeled behavior. It has been shown and it's reproduced. Children nowadays, we often talk about a girl being in domestic violence. It's called the battered wife syndrome. We think that the girl is going to be the victim. Unfortunately, nowadays, the girl is now actually the person doing the beating, or she might be the victim. So she might be the one actually causing the fights, causing the beats, but she's seen this and thinks this is how you do love. Does that make sense? That comes from Bandura's theory. You ever watch a 5-year-old watch Spider-Man? Right after Spider-Man, what is he going to do to you? He's going to try to web you. Okay? And he might do like, shh, you've been webbed. I'm webbing you, mommy. Okay? Because the thought is he's modeling. That's all modeling is. It literally means to reproduce what you see. Got it? That's the easy part of learning. You have completed the learning chapter. Very well done. No, observational, social learning, and modeling.